But I do want to introduce Michael Sullivan. He's originally from Donovan, Missouri. He attended Arkansas State University, graduated with a bachelor's degree in business management and a minor in entrepreneurship. He'll complete his master's in public administration degree in December of this year. He's lived in Jonesboro for the last 10 years. He has a passion for service and has worked as the executive director for HUD Jonesboro for the past 6 years. Through his work, he has been able to provide safe, decent, and affordable home ownership to low and low moderate families in need. So please give a warm welcome to Michael Sullivan.
Thank you all so much. Thank you so much for that introduction and for having me today. This is my third or fourth time speaking to Rotary, and so I'm so excited to be here again. And if I'm sure most of you have already heard kind of my spill about habitat, I'll do a kind of a quicker recap this time so I don't have to keep being repetitive on that, because I'm sure you're all experts in what we do. And there's a test at the end. I forgot my book, so I'm sorry I can't top last time's, but next time though, I'll be sure to have a book with me. And so I thought I'd start a little differently though. I don't usually talk a lot about me and kind of what motivates me, but I thought that would be nice to do kind of today and share a little bit more personal about myself. And we'll see how that goes. So bear with me. I've not presented to a group, especially like this. It may be a little easier. It seems like I'm just talking to my computer. So I don't know. I won't be so nervous in front of a big crowd. But this is probably one of my proudest photos of Habitat so far. This is the first house that I got to see from the ground up. And so that's Jeff, our construction manager. We worked so hard on getting this planned out, and we did a whole week of building with Jonesboro Public School Districts. And those are his two dogs coming to celebrate the first week of building. And so we did a lot of work that week, and maybe some of you guys are actually there to help build that house. It's across from the school district, a micro society. But I want to kind of give you a background about me, like I said, so bear with me. But like she said, I grew up in Southeast Missouri, so Donovan. We were farmers. They had cattle. So I got a lot of hands-on experience there. From when I was young to about 8 o'clock, I lived in my house with my mom and dad. I had two older brothers. It was an underground house, which was unique, but it was good for tornadoes. And there was a lot of tornadoes, it seemed like. And so I always felt safe there. But once they got divorced, my brothers went and lived with my dad, and I lived with my mom, and we didn't have anywhere to go. And so we ended up moving in with my grandparents. So they had a trailer house that they owned on some acreage for the farm. And we wasn't rich by no means. But we didn't struggle. We always had food on the table that I knew of. But anyway, I remember sleeping on that couch though. She had a big couch in the living room. And so when we moved in, that was a transition, because in the old house, I had my own bedroom. And so moving to my grandparents, I was on the couch, and mom had her room and my grandparents had theirs. And so we lived like that for over a year. And then we saved enough money to buy another trailer house to put behind my grandparents. And so that was convenient. I could walk across the yard and get chocolate gravy anytime I wanted to, or biscuits or whatever. And so she always had desserts and candy and stuff. But I mean, that wasn't so bad. But I remember that, that year living in that house, on that couch every morning, not having an actual bed to sleep in. And then finally actually getting another house that we can call our own. It needed repair work, and we bought it really cheap. It needed new floors, appliances, furniture. We didn't have a whole lot. And so I remember family and friends coming together and making that happen for us at no charge. And they did my room special for me. I like Legos and building. And so I ended up doing decorations in my room like that. And so it was something I could call my own. I loved it. And we lived there until I graduated. And actually, mom still lived there. She passed away this past year. And so she lived there until she died, honestly. But it was our home. It was something we could go back to. And I still consider it today home. As throughout high school, I did work. I helped pay bills as well. I worked when I was 15 in the watermelon fields. Has anyone pitched to watermelons before? You don't want to miss one, that's for sure. But it was definitely an experience, and it was hot. But I got through it. I turned 16, could drive. I got a job at the grocery store. And so now I had some air conditioning, and that was the best time. And so worked throughout high school, ended up getting accepted at Arkansas State. And so I thought, oh man, Jonesboro is this huge city. I'm going to have so much to do. I got here and it's like, oh, well, I guess there's not a lot to do after all. It's not too much different. And so with that small town feel, we had a Walmart that was pretty close though. That was nice. Before you drove to Power Bluff, which is over 30 minutes to get to a Walmart. So anyway, so undergrad, I lived here. That was back in 2010 to 14. My last year of school, I did an internship with Habitat. I remember I needed to build my resume, they said. And so there was a volunteer fair at AA State, and I met a volunteer named Gretchen and Campbell. And so she introduced me to Habitat, and I started volunteering on build sites. And once I got started, I fell in love. And then I did an internship that year as well. And so I did a semester as an intern. We were all volunteers at that point. There was no paid person. And then my last semester of school, I said, well, I need to figure out what I'm going to do next. I'm about to graduate. I have no idea where I'm going to live or what kind of job I'm going to get. And so I stopped doing an internship and I started figuring out what I wanted to do. About March, though, the current board president called and said, hey, we want to pay someone to be the executive director. Would you want to do it? And I thought, well, that's weird. I don't have any experience, but I guess they like me from the internship. And anyway, the rest is history. I guess the big thing was I didn't have experience and they didn't have money. And so it just kind of worked out for both of us. And anyway, so 6 years later, I'm now building houses. But what really motivates me to do Habitat is remember my childhood, growing up in a house, having that. Oh, it's probably gonna make a noise in a second. Someone's trying to call. Sorry. But I remember growing up in that house, living with my grandparents for that year. And then all these families and friends of families coming to help us obtain our house. And that really stuck with me. And being able to now build houses for families who are less fortunate, it's such a meaningful thing to me. And it wakes me up every day and I love doing it. And to be able to do just a little bit, it's truly amazing. And so that's my motivation. That's why I do what I do every day. And so I wanted to share that this morning. And that's the first time I've told anybody that. And so congratulations. Like I said, it's easier because I don't have to see all yet. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. So let's talk about Habitat and do a little refresher. Our vision is similar to yours, a world where everyone, except ours, is a decent place to live. Our mission is Habitat brings people together to build homes, communities, and hope. And we've been doing that in Jonesboro since 1992. It is confusing sometimes because we do have a larger international organization called Habitat for Humanity, just that. See, we're of Greater Jonesboro or of Hot Springs or Central Arkansas. And so we are all independently run though. But we have our national organization. We do have policies and guidelines we have to follow. They were founded in 1976. Jimmy Carter did not found the organization. He's the one who got us in the spotlight. So that's one of the big misconceptions. But we have served in over 70 countries and there's over 1,400 US affiliates. And together we've helped over 22.2 million people serve some type of affordable housing. So that's really exciting. So locally, 92, like I said, we currently only serve Jonesboro. We've built 21 homes. That's new construction from the ground up. We've also completed 10 repairs. I think the last time I spoke to you guys, we only had 2 done. And so that's a huge increase. And so we're still developing our repair program here locally. And then we've helped 8 families through our international tithe we do. So we give yearly to international and they help do their mission across the globe with those funds, the other affiliates. Here's a big one. So a need for housing is one of the first things we look at when we're selecting families for our program, whether that's repair program or the homeownership program. They have to have some type of need, some standard condition, overcrowding, a cost burden, just some type of need of why they need housing. And then the willingness to partner. And so that's where the sweat equity comes in. That's where they have to do homeownership courses and also the volunteer hours. We've recently reduced these hours to 125 to make it more obtainable with the grants we get. It takes less of the because we're not building it from the ground up with volunteers. Now we have a contractor that helps do the major stuff. So the roofs, they pour the foundations, they do all that fun stuff. Right now we're raising walls, we're painting, landscaping, some of the minor stuff that's a little easier for volunteers to do, but it makes it easier for them to get their hours in, but still have enough sweat equity into it where they have ownership. And then the ability to pay. So we look at HUD income standards and we select between 30 and 60%. We can go up to 80% if needed of low income standards. but once they're selected, they pay a no interest mortgage at their affordability. And typically that's between $250 and $500 for a monthly payment. And you really can't beat that with rent in Jonesboro. People get confused on what I mean by HUD income standard. So I wanted to show this today. We based on family size. And so whatever your family size, your income would need to qualify between those two numbers in order to meet to check that box on our application. And so probably someone's looking at this going, oh God, I'm low income. Oh no. So, I was there a little bit not too long ago. But anyway, I want to talk some about our current families that we're serving. So this family, the Jordan family, is about to move into their home. This is Miss Swanique Jordan and her two children. She set 3 goals, in her early 20s, that she wanted to graduate with a degree, she wanted to own a home, and she wanted to find a great job. And so she's done 2 of the 3, and now she's about to complete her 3rd before the age of 30. She's currently 28. And so next month, when we close on our house, she gets to move in. And there's actually a 3rd on the way. And so she is pregnant right now, and she's going to have a 3rd addition to that family. And so we're so excited for her family to be moving in. And I'll let you read that on your own if you wanted to. And then these are 2 of her kids. And so this is what they think. And so again, it's not just the families, the adults that realize what's happening. The kids do too. And they're just as excited as the mom and dad to be able to move into their house. And so I wanted to share that with you today as well. So this is their new house. This is a kind of a prior photo, so there's been more work done on this. And it's going to be landscaped and whatnot. But this is a 4-bedroom house for them and her 3 children. It's part of the Build It for Phillip project, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Some of you guys are probably already familiar with that project, but we're very excited to have this one getting finished. We also have the Cody family. This is Miss Alicia Cody, and she is going to be on Belt Street. And I'll talk about that in a little bit, but she has 2 children that are disabled. And so they should be wheelchair bound, one of them, but she says that his spirit and motivation not to be in that wheelchair. And so he gets up and even though he hurts, he's walking through the house and he tries to do as best he can with his braces and keep on his feet. And so we are building the house ADA compliant so that if something does happen and the children need the wheelchairs, they can. But currently, they have to struggle in their current housing because it's not ADA compliant and it's difficult. And so be able to provide that opportunity for her family. And she's a go-getter. She's already been helping raise the walls. She gets out and does anything you need to. Her personality is it's so warming and whatnot, but I'm really excited about that family as well. And so you've probably seen this before too. So the main ways you can help: volunteer, of course, whether that's a build day. We have signups and we send out signups as we have opportunities available. During our fundraisers, you can help plan a fundraiser and work them. We have committees you can serve on to help select our families, support them once they're selected. So that's the educational stuff, our development committee. And then we have our Habitat Restore as well that you can volunteer at. That's changed with COVID, and I'll talk about it in a little bit. Those are the main volunteer aspects. You can also donate financially or in kind, especially to our Restore, because that helps generate unrestricted funds that we can put back into the organization. And the biggest and easiest way that I always say is to be a voice. And I'll talk about that in a second too, because I have a job for everybody I would like to ask you to do, because we need some help at Habitat. We do have internships as well. So just like I got started, we still continue that today. It's always neat to go back to the A-State Volunteer Fair and be the one behind the table, trying to recruit new volunteers. I always think that's kind of a full circle kind of thing. But this is one of our interns through Reading Across America. She went and read to, I think this is Nettleton School, some of their little kids. But she's since graduated with her communications and marketing. And so she's able to do a lot of the graphic design stuff. And that was a huge help for Habitat while she was here. We miss our interns. Usually, sometimes we don't miss them. I'm just kidding. But anyway, so here's your job. Here's your assignment. When you leave today, I need you to help me find applicants for our program. You'd think the easiest way we could, I mean, we're not giving away houses, but the opportunity is huge. We struggle getting applicants. And so if you have an avenue to help promote this, or someone who is low income, who lives in Jonesboro or works in Jonesboro, they don't have to live here. They can also work here. They just need some connection to Jonesboro. Have them apply. we need 8 more families for our Build Phillip project, and 1 more for the Belt Street house. And so we need all the help we can get. Applications can be printed off online. You can get them outside our office door. You don't have to go in. There's a thing outside the door. You can get one, or pick one up at a restore while we're open, or we can mail you one. And so there's no excuse. If you know somebody, we can get them the application. So please help spread that word about Habitat. And you have to live or work, be low income, and have the desire to help build your house. So of course, this is a small thing right now, COVID. We have changed some of our things. And so our office, we're appointment only. We have to wear a mask. We are working from home some as well. So like today, I'm at home. Our bill days have changed. So you have to sign a COVID questionnaire, and we verify before you start building. You're required to wear a mask, which is hot, which is getting cooler, thank God. And so it was a little more challenging the past few days, or the past few builds, because it was so hot and you don't want to wear that thing. But so far, the volunteers have all been compliant. Our restore, we usually have volunteers helping run it. It's just employees now. We don't want to expose our volunteers any more than we have to, access with the traffic. Now, we're not no Lowe's or Home Depot, so it's not packed full of people. You know, a lot of times you're the only shopper in there, or there's 3 or 4 people. And so please check out our restore. I have a slide later to show you where our location is and how to reach out to us. We are doing donation pickups. We're asking people to set things outside in their garages, so we don't actually have to go inside your house. If it's really good and worth the money, we will, but we try to get it outside, and we understand. We have been fortunate though. We've got some grants. We got that federal PPP grant that helped sustain us. We did close the restore for over 2 months, and so that helped make up that raw revenue. And we also got that state PPE supplies, and so we're able to purchase materials that we needed to protect our volunteers and our staff. And so we're pleased with that. We also had a tornado, as you guys know, and so we partnered with Northeast Arkansas, United Way of Northeast Arkansas. They were able to raise, they're the fundraisers, and so we're the doers. And so they did their big fundraiser, got a lot of donations. And so as it's needed, people have been applying through our program, and we're going to help some families through siding repair, roof, windows, and more. We basically extended our repair program to do that. That's just for tornado victims, though. We don't offer that yet to everybody. So we're happy to be in a partnership with them. Some of our current projects, I mentioned and if I'm going over time, please tell me. Mentioned our restore. The last time I talked, we were downtown. Now we're on Highland at 3610 East Highland. If you've not seen the new store, it's about 8,000 square feet, a lot more spacious, and we love it. And we want you to be there as well. So go shop with us. You can donate building material, furniture, appliances, home goods. We don't take paint unless it's unopened, but we do have a new line of paint that we sell that's eco-friendly. It's all recycled paint, and it's $17 a gallon. So I encourage you to buy paint from us, or rugs. Most of our rugs are under $100. They range from $40 to $100. There's probably someone in here that's already bought one, and so they can vouch for it. But we really like our new stuff that we can resell. But we also have a biggest portion of it is donation. So we do need that donation base. So if you're cleaning that garage out or buying new furniture and want to donate, please let us know. We'll come pick it up. And then, of course, those monies go back into funding our mission at Habitat. So I mentioned Build It for Phillip. The first house is finally being complete. Our campaign goal for this was $325,000. It was to honor the late Phillip Evans, who passed away 3-4 years ago now, and his family, his wife and 2 children. They approached us and said, "Hey, we want to build one house," and we ended up building 9 houses, or going to be building 9 houses in a pocket park. And I can show you some progress photos in a second as well. And so they raised well over their goal. And so we were able to do a little bit more than we expected. And so it's going to be a really cool development and something that North Jonesboro needs, especially on State Street. Here's the concept photo. And then here's the park right now. And so as I speak, there should be people out there putting up park equipment. And so I'm so excited to be able to go down those slides and start swinging that swing set. But that should all be done hopefully by next week if everything works out right. And so we're looking forward to having a park in place. And this is all going to be donated back to the city of Jonesboro to maintain, and it's open to the community. So anyone can come out here and enjoy this. It's been slower and a lot more challenging than a normal build, because usually we're just doing one house and one lot. This being a whole development was a whole new adventure for us. And so we've learned a whole lot. That's the nice way to put it. But anyway, we're excited. And we, of course, have our Belt Street houses. And so we already have 2 completed, and a third one just finished in December of last year. And we have 2 more, one for the Alicia family, and then one, we need another family to take it over. And so we're looking for those applicants again. There's the first house at 420. And then this is Miss Cody's house on the bottom corner. And she helped raise those walls with our volunteers. And so we're excited that it's actually going up now, of course. Our repair program, it's newer. And so we have done around 10 houses now. We have one more that's needing painted. It's a 2-story, it has a basement. So the back of the house is like a 2nd story almost. And so I'm not looking forward to getting a ladder and having to paint that, but our volunteers are pretty amazing. They can do anything. And they sign a waiver, so it'll be fine. But anyway, our repair program is just for Jonesboro currently, and you have to be a homeowner and still be low income and have need. And so we'll do painting, landscaping, yard cleanup, wheelchair ramps, construction. And so it still follows the same principles as our homeownership program, but it opens up so we can touch more lives through this program because it costs less. It's a little, and it's also a little easier than a new construction. So this is the very first one we did. You probably have seen this before. This was an elderly lady she was a widow. Her husband passed away, and she wasn't able to maintain the front of the house or the outside of it. And so we were able to go in, put some landscaping in, repaint, and make it look better for her. And she was so excited. And this one really launched our program into the community. This is one of the last ones we finished. It was a wheelchair ramp. She didn't need it ADA compliant. She just needed something to help her get up instead of taking the stairs because she had bad hips. And so we asked her if she wanted an ADA, and she said no. So we just built a shorter ramp. Typically this thing would have been way out in the yard if we were doing ADA. So she was so happy with it. This is the first time I've been stung by a wasp, by the way. And so in that corner of the house, there was a bunch of wasps. But anyway, volunteers just scattered. If you ever want to see a volunteer run, get a wasp. And it was quite entertaining. But anyway, we survived and she got her ramp. The sacrifices I make for Habitat, right? So some bad news for you. We did cancel our annual Super Sunday because of COVID. They're just not a good way to deliver soup or pick up soup and it be cold and you have to go home and heat it, and then the voting on top of that. So we figured this year we're going to cancel it, but we're still asking for donations. So please consider donating in lieu of this. This was our largest fundraiser. We typically bring between 10,000 and 15,000 through it. And so it's a huge hit to Habitat. Now we have been blessed with some other grants that I'll talk about, but we still need to make up that funding. And so if you have in your hearts and want to donate today, please go to our website or send us a check. But hopefully in 2021, we'll be back to normal with it. And so, like I said, we have been blessed. We've been working on some more grants. The Federal Home Bank of Dallas has a matching program, and we had some local banks who are part of the Federal Home Bank of Dallas to donate money. And then they matched it 5-1. It was based on a lottery system. We won the lottery 2 years ago, but we didn't win it last year. And this year we did again. And so thank God we've got over 57,000 worth of bank match and their donations, and it's unrestricted to operational costs. And so it keeps me employed. Yeah. And then the King Foundation as well. We were applying originally for a new person to be brought on. And we received over 35,000 through grant funding through the King Foundation. So we're thankful for both of those organizations and the banks to help make that happen. And so we're looking to hire a new director of operations to help me, because currently I'm still the only full-time with part-time employees. And so what's next for Habitat? I kind of want to give you a sneak peek of where we'd like to go in the future. Hopefully sooner than later. But again, the new director of operations, we want to complete the Build for Phillip project in Belt Street. We want to extend our Brush with Kindness program, not just helping more people, but maybe go critical home and do more stuff inside the house, maybe do roofs eventually, because that's a huge need I get phone calls all about. And then maybe expand the option of expanding our organization to not just Jonesboro, but maybe Craighead, maybe Northeast Arkansas. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to need some more staff before we go full Northeast Arkansas, but I think Craighead's a good next step. And so maybe in the next year or so, we can start offering more opportunities, not just for Jonesboro, but for the county as well. And of course, we're going to keep going after those grant fundings that are out there. So that's kind of projection of what's next. And I think with the new full-time person, we can do that. And I'm very excited to have someone who can work next to me. I wanted to do this slide this time as well. It's just some frequently asked questions I get. And there's room at the end if you guys want to ask any other questions, but we currently build in Jonesboro. Usually it's in North Jonesboro because that's where land's cheaper or it's been donated, but we'll build anywhere within the city limits. We do accept applicants who own land. We've never had this happen, but if that's a question we get a lot of times from families of, well, I own land, can you build on my lot? We could. There's just a process and part of that, and we'd have to figure it out. So yes, or better, I guess the better answer is maybe we have to work on it. Do we check credit scores? We don't look at the credit score, but we do pull credit history. We want to make sure you're financially able to afford the mortgage and pay this mortgage payment. And so if you have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt, then you're probably not going to qualify. Some debt's okay, but we do want to make sure that you're being honest on your application and can actually afford our mortgage. Bankruptcy. You can file bankruptcy within 2 years. And so anything over that, it's fine. If you just filed bankruptcy last year, then no, we won't select you. You have to wait for at least that second year to pass. You do have to live or work in Jonesboro to qualify for a homeownership program. And then our repair program is just your house has to be in Jonesboro. We don't do bathroom floors yet or roofs because we just don't have the program or the capacity to do it. But we'd like to eventually explore in that option. And the final one is how old do you have to be? You need to be at least 14 to volunteer. If we're doing a major construction, like or raising our walls, we look at 16 or older, and that's just liability and insurance reasons. If we're doing landscaping, we can sometimes go younger than 14, but you just have to kind of work with us on when we have those days. But anyway, does anyone have any questions? I don't think I went over time. If I need to waste more time, I can definitely get a book and start reading. So any questions or anything?
Hey, Michael, I guess, when do you post the dates for build days? How do you find out on a build day? If we wanted to volunteer, how would we find out?
If a group wants to volunteer, I can, you can reach out and we can kind of work on a day if we have something coming up. As volunteers come up, we post a sign-up sheet and it goes to our mailing list, and then we post it on Facebook as well. And so we get it out that way. And if you see that and you're like, oh, I'd like my group to see if they want to sign up, you can email me and say, hey, I want to, or sign up on the sheet and put at the bottom in the comment, I have a group of 10 people. And then I'll go through and I'll take off 10 people slots. So not all 10 of you have to sign up, as long as you're the group leader and can tell everyone else where to be and what we're requiring. That's the easiest way for a group. Or individually, you just sign up. All right. Well, I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for hearing me out. And I wish you guys all well and stay healthy. And if you need anything from Habitat or have an applicant that you think would like to apply, be happy to answer any questions. Please share that information. But I appreciate it and hope you guys have a good rest of the week.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, Michael, do I understand that the Morning Rotary Club does a lot with Habitat, or do they get together as a group and help out, or tell me what they've done?
So they have sponsored the 3 built houses, and each house they've donated $7,500. Through our grant program, we've able to secure $90,000 for each construction, but it's typically costs us around $96,000 to $100,000 to build. And so by them committing that $7,500, it helps close that gap so we can finish the house completely. And then they also send volunteers out to actually build on our build days. And so painting, landscape, or raising the walls. We had a few volunteers, a few of them come out the last time on the Cody house to help build. And so that's the ways. There's also a few of them that have helped through the educational. So like Mary Tucker, she is a banker and she helped educate one of our homeowners on financial educations. And so things like that. So if you have a skill you'd like to work with our homeowners, we'd be happy to connect you with. It's a one-on-one thing. It gets them more connected and someone they can lean on if they have questions and can build a trust and relationship with. Because a lot of our families are shy. They don't want to ask questions, and so by having that one-on-one and you kind of build rapport with them, they begin to open up and ask more questions and whatnot. So anyway, that's how they're volunteering now.
Great. Well, I think that would help our club give them some ideas of how we could help as well. So
definitely.
Next week's Rotary program is Andrea Allen, the Executive Director of the Delta Center for Economic Development at Arkansas State. So she'll be joining us and presenting the program to us next week. I did not have the topic of that just yet, but I'm sure it'll have to do with economic development. And then thought for the day: for a community to be whole and healthy, it must be based on people's love and concern for each other. All we have for the meeting this week. So we will stand adjourned till next week. Y'all have a great rest of the week.
Good job, Michael. Appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you so much.